Hello ladies, this is Mrs. Newton. Welcome to part 3 of Advanced Bootstrap Layouts. I've talked to you guys already about how to use offsets for your columns, how to put columns inside of columns, but now I'm going to show you how to switch the order of columns for different screen sizes. Okay, and so if we go to Bootstrap's website and we look at the grid system, column ordering is the section that I'm going to be looking at next. And something that's interesting here is you see that there's a small column and there's a long column. So there's a short column and a long column. This is 3 and this is 9. And on this medium screen, the 3 is on the left, but the 9 is on the right. However, when I get to a smaller screen, like this, all of a sudden the 9 is coming first and 3 is coming second. Okay, so the order has switched. On the small screens, we see 9 first and 3 second, but then on the medium and larger screens, we see 3 first and 9 second. And so we're seeing the order switching. And the way we're going to do this is with two new types of classes called push and pull. All right, and so let's look at your demo file that we've been working with so far. And this is the row that we're going to be looking at for this next section. So we have, if we look at this on the extra small screen, we have the text first and the shield second. On the small screen, oops, not quite too small yet. There, well, maybe I am on small. There we go, this is small. On small, I have 6 and 6, but again, text first, image second. On the medium screen, we have text and image, and then on the, on the large screen, we have the text and the image. Okay, and so this is going to be my goal. On the medium and large screens, so here and on the bigger one, I would like for the shield to actually come first. Okay, so I want the shield to be on the left and I want the text to be on the right. Okay, and so to do that, we're going to use these push and pull classes. Now, I want to make an important note whenever you're doing this. If you're going to have content that's going to switch places on your screen, whenever you're typing that content into your HTML, so I'm going to expand this row here, it's going to be important that the first thing that you include, the first section that you include, needs to be what you want to come first on the small screens. And so, on this small screen, if I want the text to come first, then in my code, I need the text to come first in my code. And the reason is Bootstrap is a mobile-first technology. If you go to their homepage, it says Bootstrap is a mobile-first framework, So we want to consider mobile screens first, and then we can accommodate the larger screens to what we need later on. Okay, so we want to set up the small screen. We want the code to be in the order that we want it to appear on the small screens. And so for small screens, it's going to be exactly the same that we've been doing. We have extra small, 12, extra small, 12, etc. Okay, so let's get back to here. So when I get to the medium screen, I would like for this to be pulled over to this side of the screen, and I want the text to be pushed over to that side of the screen. Okay, and so that's what we're going to do. We're going to add a new class to each of these sections. For this one, if you're moving something from the left to the right, we're going to tell that section to push. So it's like we're going to start over here and we're going to push it that way. And if we think, okay, how many columns do I need to push it? It's going to need to go 1, 2, 3 columns. So I'm going to push this text section 3 columns over. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to find the text. And in here, I'm going to put column, medium, because this needs to happen on the medium screen, push, and 3. And that is going to push the text over by 3 columns. Now, if you do that without doing anything to the next section, it's not going to work. you can see that it actually did get pushed over, but now we have some weird stuff happening between the text and the image. And that's because this got pushed over, but this did not get pulled into its place. So anytime we push, we also need to pull something else. So I've pushed the text. I need to pull this image. Now the image doesn't need to pull 3 columns. It needs to pull a lot more. It has to come all the way from here to the front of the screen, to the edge of the left edge of the section. So it's going to need to pull, we're pulling it this way, 9 columns. And so on my image, inside here, I'm going to include column, medium, pull, and 9. And actually, I think 3 and 9 are not the right numbers, because if you look, I have 4 and 8. Whoops. Let's see what that looks like. Interesting. So if you get your numbers wrong, whoopsie daisies, you're going to notice that your stuff, your sections might end up going outside of the container. And sure enough, that's what's happening here. Like my container ends right here, but my image, I pulled it so far that I pulled it past the edge of the container. And if I go to the large screen, you might be able to see that a little bit better. Well, maybe not. But you can see that it's obviously going like over far past the edge of the screen, which is not what I want. That doesn't look very good. And then we have this awkward gap over here. So my numbers were mixed up. They need to match the screen, the section sizes here. So this needs to be 4, and this needs to be 8. Oops. So fix that. And when you look at it, it should look better. Yay! Okay. So that is a lot nicer. So I switched the order of those two things right there. Okay, so again, on the extra small and small, the text comes first. Text comes first, but then when we get to medium, they switch places, which is kind of nice. And you do that with push and pull. I won't show you specifically, but just a heads up, push and pull are going to carry up to larger screen sizes. So just like the offset class would carry up to other screen sizes, push and pull will also carry up to larger screen sizes. So you might need to be careful. You may need to overwrite the push and pull if you want to if you want to switch the order or switch the position, and then you end up wanting to switch back on a different screen size, you may need to overwrite push and pull. But in this case, I'm just going to leave it like this and leave it at that. I am going to go ahead now, so that describes how to switch up the column ordering of different pieces of content. I'm going to go ahead and cover this last section, which is called Clearfix, because it's a pretty short little tutorial. And so the Clearfix class is really nice. It's pretty handy. What it's used for is, if I look at the code here, I have this row, and my row has 4 sections of content. And the important thing to see here is that each section on the extra small screen is going to be 12, 12, 12, and 12. On my small screen, it's going to be 6, 6, 6, and 6. And then on the large screen, or on the medium and large screen, it's going to be 3, 3, 3, and 3. And so the idea is, on my medium and large screens, they're 3, 3, 3, and 3. On my extra small screen, they should be 12, 12, 12, and 12. But on my small screen, what I'm going to want is what I'd like to have is 6, 6, and then I would like for new line 1 and new line 2 to be next to each other right here. So like new line 1 to be here and new line 2 to be here. But we're encountering a little bit of a problem right now. And that problem is that since this is a long paragraph and this is a short paragraph, new line 1 is saying, hey, I'm only 6 columns wide. I can fit up there. And he's squeezing in underneath this short paragraph when I'd really like him to be on a new line. Okay, and so you could write, before we used Bootstrap, we would create a class, we'd call it Clear, we'd add Clear to this guy, and that could work. But Bootstrap has a little piece of functionality already built in that we can use to fix this problem. And now you might say, hey, Miss Newton, why don't you just make new line 1 and new line 2 into a new row? And that could be an option. However, since I want all 4 of these things to be next to each other on the medium and on the large screens, I can't make this a new row, because if this was in a new div class equals row, it would end up when I went to the medium and large screens, we would see these move underneath these first two paragraphs. So since I want them eventually to be all together, they have to be in a single row. But what I'm going to show you next is how to fix this problem when it happens. Okay, so on Bootstrap's website right here. Where are you, Bootstrap's website? There you are. The section that we're going to be looking at is called Responsive Column Resets. Responsive column resets. Okay, and so they have the same problem going on here. They have 6, 6, 6, and 6. However, when they shrink down, even though this is long and this is short, when they shrink down, they don't have, oops, oh gosh, I'm going to have to, there it is. They don't have the problem. This actually moved to a new row with that one. And this is magic that they use for that. So inside of their div class equals row, we have our 4 little sections. They have this new div tag here. The div does not have any content inside of it. It is specifically used to solve this problem. It has a class called Clearfix. And Clearfix is the class that's used to fix this clearing problem or fix this floating problem, okay? The other thing that's really interesting about this, though, is that they have this extra class right here. It's called visible extra small block. And what visible extra small block means is that this is only visible on the extra small screen, okay? So on the small, medium, and large screen, this is going to go away. It's going to hide, and we're not going to see things clear. But on the extra small screen, this is where we're going to use it. Okay, so I am going to copy and paste this because we're going to use a version of this in our code. Okay, but our problem is happening, if you remember, not on the extra small screen, but on the small screen. So I'm going to come into my code, and I need to find the place where I would like for there to be separation between this and this. And that's going to be after the short paragraph section and before the new line section. So that's going to be in short section, new line 1. It's going to be right here in between. Okay, so in between those two things, you're going to add this div class equals Clearfix. But now I want to make sure that this value here, this screen size here, matches when I want this Clearfix to happen. And the answer is I want it to happen on the small screen. So I need to change my XS to an SM so that this Clearfix is only going to work, is only going to make this come to a new line when I'm on the small screen. Okay, so once I add this in, bum, 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 problem solved. We have long paragraph, short paragraph, and now new line 1 is next to new line 2. Okay, so that's it. If you leave off the visible small block thing, you're going to have an issue when you get here to your medium screen. Uh-oh, they're not next to each other anymore. And again, that would be the problem if I put these into 2 separate rows. But if you put visible screen size block, that's going to make this only happen on the small screen. Okay, and that makes it all magic and happy. So it's medium, small, and extra small. Alrighty, so that is my tutorial for you. So for some advanced Bootstrap layouts, we have talked about offsets, which was this guy, inserting some blank columns. We talked about nested columns or nested rows, which we did right here, where we have this next to new rows. So like this is one huge row, and then this is an inner row and another inner row. And then we talked about, in this tutorial video right now, switching the column ordering, which will take some content like text, image, and switch the order. Image, text. And then just now we talked about this Clearfix. So anyway, I hope that you enjoy all of these classes, and some other examples are available on the Bootstrap's website under the CSS tab inside the grid system. So if you want to look at these 4 categories, they're available right here. As always, come by or let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you enjoy using these in your,
Please join me for the afternoon prayer.
in your layouts. Thank you.